Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young. And we're so glad you joined us today.
All right, y'all, come on. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the For Better and Worth podcast. We're back at it again.
Yes, we are so glad you're here. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in to us.
Look, we said it before. We're going to say it again. We've got good stuff to talk about today, and it's going to get a little hot, a little steamy, a little roasty in this room.
Oh my goodness, you say that, and I'm like, yeah, we did kind of have some interesting conversation behind the scenes on this one. So maybe you'll get the excerpt version, or you might get the raw uncut. I don't know. We'll see.
We say at the For Better and Worth podcast, we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth. But we also know that there are a lot of people out there who have been fed a bunch of lies about marriage and what they look like and what it really is at the end of the day. And then when you factor money into all of that, it can get a little messy. So
yes,
we're going to talk a little bit about those lies that people have been told. And so I don't know, Ericka, I'm just curious, before you got married, before you met this handsome guy that swept you off your feet and you were like, oh my God, what were some lies that people told you about marriage?
Wait, let's back up. Where is this handsome guy who swept me off my feet? Who is that dude?
Oh, you looking at him right now. He's right across the table from you.
Oh, I just had to put that in there. Of course I believe. That was not a lie. It was not a lie. That was the truth. It was the truth. You are my handsome prince. I'm glad that we are still on this journey together. But a lie that I believed, and I'm not even sure that I was told this lie other than from movies that I have watched or just our culture in which we believe these lies that love is enough. Love is enough. And I'm like,
I'm over here laughing.
Are you laughing because you're like, you believe that lie?
Ooh, I'm like, love and some patience and some understanding and some communication.
He about to get the holy happiness over here. What is that? Is that directed over in this direction for some reason? I'm just wondering.
No, not at all. Not at all. You make it easy. You make it easy.
Yay. But yeah, that was a lie that I believe that love, all you need is love. I know you've heard that before, or if you just love each other, hey, that's enough. And I'm like, but love don't pay the bills, right? Love don't get up and go to work, And so I do, like you said, love needs to be patient, but it isn't always, right? And so the truth is, I believe that lie. And the interesting thing is that love doesn't solve all problems. You actually do need to know how to solve problems, work together as a team, compromise, communicate. There's so much more to it than that. So yeah, after, 2.5 decades, I think it's fair to say that both of us believe that was a lie.
Yeah, that being a lie, that love alone.
Correct.
Now love is definitely necessary and required because it will allow you to see past, flaws or imperfections or shortcomings, any of that stuff. I believe love allows you to see the true nature of a person.
That's fair.
And so there's a lot about love that matters, but love by itself, you can be in love and be hungry. You can be in love and be like, with holes in your clothes and a leaky roof. So that by itself, no, that's not going to be enough. So
were you fed a lie about marriage and or money?
You when you ask that, it makes me think, and here's the thing that comes to my mind. that everybody knows this statement. As soon as I say it, happy life, happy wife, happy life. It's like, man,
That's the truth.
that's not right though.
That is the truth. And listen, tell the truth, shame the devil. That is the truth. You keep your wife happy, you will yourself have a happy life.
And the devil is a lie.
Okay, so
I say it's a lie because yes, you want your wife to be happy. But if your wife is the only one that is happy in the relationship, how long can that relationship really last?
wow, you just dropped all of the microphones. Okay, that part right there, I must acquiesce and say you got it. That part is real.
I'm just saying, I want you to be happy. And I do a lot of things in life to try and make you happy. And even in that happiness, your definition of happiness is sometimes different than mine. And so happy wife, happy life, if I'm doing the thing that I think will make you happy, but that's not really the thing that you want me to do to make you happy, there's going to be conflict. There's going to be problems anyway. That's why I say it's a lie. There is some truth in there, but you have to tease out what that truth looks like when the lie is looking you right in the face.
Ooh, that's good. That'll preach. That'll preach right there. So
And the Lord said,
listen, you know what? If we have to take up an offering plate, I will put something in it today.
I just went, a little Baptist preacher right there, had to do my thing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, first of all, where it concerns marriage and money, what is a lie that you believe people, they fall into the trap of believing?
So here's, we're going to go over a few of them. The first one that I would talk about is what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. Like, hold on. That goes back to the happy wife, happy life. It's like, if you think about it, people enter relationships and they have these predefined roles. And a lot of times people subscribe to all of those roles. And I know me being a man, naturally, I want to be a provider. And I think women going into relationships naturally are nurturers and they do different things. But there are a lot of women out there that earn more than men. And, it's one of those things where you have to remember it's a partnership. And it's the partnership that allows you to be successful together. But I know there's some women out there and there's some men out there that are like, look, I earn the money and I can do what I want to do, especially if you're the larger income earner. And we can flip that around. Like, look, you earn more, so you don't need my money. So my money is mine and you can pay the bills and you can do this. So it goes both ways,
I think it really does. And I think that the assumption around how much a person earns is a stumbling block. I really believe that we can fall into the trap of understanding that the person who's making more money has more say, for instance, or gets to spend more, for instance. And we are of the mind that is one pot. When you are a team couple, when you are working together, same goal, one band, one sound, it's one income pot, right? And so then if that is the case, then everything is ours, not what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. Everything is ours to enjoy. And so it doesn't matter who the breadwinner is. It doesn't matter who the financial money manager is in the household or, what have you. It is one collective pot that our family gets to enjoy and utilize and profit from and invest from and all of that. And I think that unity is what can make the relationship and the financial results something that is beautiful.
I think I've said it before. A lot of people in this generation are that quick. They're quick to quit if they don't think things are going their way. And you can't be in that quick generation if you're talking about being in a partnership. Even in a business partnership, you got to go through certain steps to dissolve the partnership. And so it's not something that just happens overnight, and you have to be committed. So it can't be what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. It's like, look, we're in this together, what we earn, what we bring to the table. I bring assets, try and limit the number of liabilities. That's how we collectively win.
And I think if we can win, if we know that we are Team Young, same team, then we're rooting for each other, not rooting against each other. Like, I think that's where we tend to get stuck is, oh, well, I did this, or this is my money, or I put this aside, or I have a little slush fund, or what have you. And then you're working against one another instead of working in unison, in tandem, side by side, hand in hand. And so just visualize what you'd like to see in terms of the outcome of your relationship, and then you will be able to see what is necessary to do in the financial realm as well.
Look, you getting it in there. You letting them know what's up. That's all for real.
Yep.
And so I want to ask you, Ericka, what's one of the lies that you think people have been told out there when it comes to marriage and money?
That everything is going to be equal. And so just because you are in a partnership doesn't mean that every task or role or financial inlay and outlay is going to be equal. I find that a lot of times my clients get stuck here is that we want to spend equal amount of time on tasks, for instance. And one person working the budget most of the time, or one person tracking the spending, and then somebody's getting frustrated because they're doing the most. The thing is that everything isn't going to be equal, be it how you spend money, how you manage the money, who makes the money. Those things may not always be equal. It is rare, absolutely rare, where each party in the relationship is putting in equal amount of time or equal amount of income or equal amount of spending, for instance. Equal in terms of all of that may not be the goal you need to go after. And if you're going after that, that might be time wasted. That's the honest truth. We have to think about, what are you great at? What is fruitful? What's going to be helpful? And that is the outcome that we're looking for, is to make sure that you're working together as a team.
I think there's always going to be someone who spends more, and there's always going to be someone who spends relatively less. And I think about you and I and how we operate. And you have a different threshold for spending than I do. And my threshold, by all accounts, is a lot higher. I can just spontaneously be like, oh, I'm going to buy this thing. It's $900. You're like, huh?
Right.
You're like, I got anxiety now. And you'll spend $150 and you feel like, man, I'm doing it. And so just in the nature of relationships, in the nature of how people see things, how people do life, things are never going to be equal. I'm a little OCD when it comes to, cleaning. So it's like, okay, I want things this way, and I'm adamant about that. And, you're like, well, that's not as important. You want to be clean and you want to be neat, but it's just different ways of seeing it. So I just don't even see in relationships in general them being, 100% equal.
Yeah.
Because people have different things that matter to them. And the things that matter to you might be different than the things that matter to me. So I'm going to put emphasis on those things that matter more to me, as you will put emphasis on those things that matter more to you. And so we want people to not buy into the lies, but really find the truths behind the lie. Because if you focus on the truth, that's the premise of the lie, you can find success.
Yeah. And you know what? It is actually statistically proven that the person who does the primary child rearing in the household, meaning they are caring for the kids most of the time, or they're purchasing the groceries or the diapers. In that phase of life, typically there's one person who stands out as the person who's spending the most, right? And so, in large part, that usually can be the women. And so what happens is that when so much money is being spent at the grocery store or on the kids or in their activities and it's managed by one person, that person is actually spending more of the dollars. But as long as the household has agreed that these are the things that we're doing, then everybody is actually spending the money. It's just the one person is making the transaction. And so people tend to get off in a ditch where that is concerned. I've actually had clients who have had lots of challenges really trying to balance the scales in that way. And I actually think it's a futile pursuit, because if you have agreed upon the budget, for instance, or if you've agreed upon these activities for the kids, or if you've agreed upon the gift giving amounts that you're giving to one another, then who spends what is of no consequence when the whole pot is there for us to all enjoy. And so that might be a reworking of how you see how money has to be, how it's managed inside the house once it comes in. And so that's reprogramming. And I think that might be a really great conversation for couples to have is, you know, how do you define equal? What does that look like? And is it necessary? Where does that show up? And that kind of thing, because we need to take down the lie that it's going to all be equal, because that's really not a goal that is worth striving for.
Look, and I know when it comes to spending, just even on a daily basis, I tend to operate with cash. And so I know my movement is different because I'm like, well, hold on, I don't even want to spend my cash because I just like to hold on to it. So I typically don't even spend. I rarely use my debit card or things like that unless we're together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like by all accounts, I don't spend much because I'm like, one, I don't like parting with my cash. And two, it's just like I started thinking differently, like, well, I don't even need or want that because it's just not an important thing. And so it may never be equal just because of the way that I operate on a daily basis. And I think that's where people have to be true with themselves. Like, well, how do you move through life? How do you do different things? And then when you understand that, it won't be an issue if one person is seen as spending more or doing more, and the lies won't be able to trip you up.
Yeah.
Because that's all I see. Like these lies we're talking about, all they're doing is just tripping people up. Because, like I said, it's the truth that you're trying to get to that's behind the lie.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think that's really good to consider how people move, because you will save up your cash and one day you're like, oh, I'm going to go buy this big thing. And I'm like, what do you mean? And you've saved up your cash. And so that is really a non-issue. It's not, because you've set it aside for the last 4 to 5 months. And then now it's like, okay, sure, this might be $1,000 purchase, but you have been saving and setting aside and putting away and being the person who doesn't like to spend cash, and then you get this thing. And for me, I'll be honest. I'm the Amazon person. We just got a package delivered today, and I'm not saying it happens every day, but it's pretty frequent. And so,
was it a package today? Maybe today it was a package, but I know I've been to the door like several times in one day, like, oh, it's 3 packages here.
Okay, you know what? We just got off the holiday season. Maybe that was part of the
problem. Then I come back later on. Oh, it's another package? Who ordering all this stuff?
So, and Amazon no longer makes it all, they don't all have to come at the same time. You know what I mean? It literally was $35 and it's coming in 3 packages.
Look, Amazon out here messing people up.
Yes.
Because you need to be able to check the box. Send all my stuff at once. One package.
Then it's going to take longer. So we just say, nah, bring it to me because I want it in 2 days or I want it in 24 hours. So,
I know, but when you have like 20 packages showing up, it's just funny to me. So
I know we have neighbors where we see them starting to pile up, especially during the holidays. That stuff gets really out of hand. So, but I think that is, the different ways that people spend comes into play. And so I think having each other answer questions about what do you feel needs to be equal and why and what's coming up there, and then consider commonality. Where do you really want to be together as a team? And I think that would be helpful.
So we got another one we want to talk about here.
Yes, husband. What is that last one?
And I'm gonna tell you all who are listening right now to sit forward in your seat, and, hold on to the sides because
Buckle up.
ooh-wee.
Buckle up.
This is a lie that continues to be propagated. I can change him or her.
Ooh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Fan yourself. Can we just get some help? Because that happens all the time where people believe this lie.
Look, they're like, but they have so much potential. And if I pour into them, they will change. If they will see it my way.
Woo.
Man, that is not the truth. Okay, let's just make it plain.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
Right. I think when we talk about this, I can change him or her. I think sometimes people do have a tendency to be able to grow and evolve and become, a better version of themselves. But that's not because you are changing them. Now, can you influence someone? Absolutely. Through positive behaviors, positive, enforcement. But I just don't think, if you're seeing something in a relationship before you decide to get married, just because you put a ring on it doesn't mean that it's going to fundamentally change. It just means you have a ring on it now.
That's true. That's true. And I think even if you've been in a relationship for a long time, and let's just say you're the only one listening to this podcast, and you're like, oh, I'm getting this insight, or I didn't think about this before like this. And now you're like, let me come to my spouse and say, hey, what do you think about blah, 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 blah. And if I just say these things, it's going to change them. Or if we do this one thing, or I have them talk to this person, it's going to change them. The goal is not to ever feel like you can change your spouse. You have to love who they are and take them as they are. And that might be, in fact, the most challenging part of relationships. What do you think?
I've been trying to teach Ericka how to drive for 25 years.
You know what? Then you might as well stop now, husband. Because here's the deal. I want to get in the passenger seat and I want to just be driven, literally driving Miss Ericka for real. Because when you drive, when you drive, I get to relax. When I drive, you're like, you should go this way. Why don't you park this way? Are you going this way? Literally yesterday, I was guided as I was driving my own car in a city I have lived in for over 10 years. And I'm like, dude, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. It might be different than you, but that doesn't make it wrong.
Yeah, I had to just sit back and relax a little.
Did you? You did on the way home. You did on the way home. You did not on the way there.
But you know what? I've learned that I do most of the driving.
Praise the Lord.
So everybody is calm.
Praise the Lord.
But yeah, I've accepted your driving limitations.
Oh,
I mean, let me back up. I've accepted your driving abilities.
Yes,
as they are.
And you know what? Pray for me. I'll take all the prayers. I'll take all the prayers. Not a problem at all. But
we're joking here about.
But it's true. It's very true because if honestly, the truth is you have been since the day that we got married, before we got married, when we were dating, you were a professional driver at FedEx. You had to be a professional driver. You were a professional driver in some of your early career moves, and you have always been in sales that will require you, I shouldn't say always, but for many years, 15 years, I think it is, that you have been, in a position where you had to drive for the company. And so when you think about that, that means you have to keep up with certain certifications and you have to do trainings and blah, 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 blah. And you get off into that. You get excited.
That's
Me,
right. That's right, people. I'm a professionally trained driver.
that's true. And I sit back and I'm like, I don't care about none of that. I'm so glad I do not have any type of job or career where my driving is necessitated because a sister girl gets pulled over too many times. And I'm not, listen, I would not be able to keep the insurance on these company cars. I'm just being honest. So he hasn't been able to change me in that way in 25 years.
You're not built for that.
I'm not. I listen. I know my weaknesses.
Right. And I think the fact that we're joking about this, I hope you guys are listening and realizing that even something as little as this, you can't change people. So now let's multiply that by serious factors. Like they're not a believer, or they believe that debt and car notes are okay, or they say, as long as we have a little something in savings, we'll be all right.
Or let's keep separate accounts because I don't trust you with my money. Let that one sink in.
Right. So it's all those things if you're realistic and you understand that you can't change someone. You have to accept them for who and what they are and where they're at. Now, do you want them to be committed to growing together? Do you want them to be committed to entering into a partnership that requires you both to evolve over time? Absolutely. And so we just think about that lie that I can change him or her. It's that you really have to accept people where they're at and then chart your way forward together.
Yeah. And you know what? The other thing that I think about is we have changed over time, right? But that is a choice that we have individually made or an evolution from, being entry level workers at our jobs to people who are really making impact in our career paths. And that change over time is impactful. Or the idea that, a person is a mom, an early mom, a new mom, that person is not the same as a woman who has launched off a child into her career or his career. That is a person who has definitely adapted and changed over time. So people do change, but typically it is of their own accord. So to think that you can change another human is the part that is a futile effort.
Yeah, it's people change of their own volition. And so I think the bigger thing when we talk about make it worth it is know that these are lies.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the way you make it worth it is you look at the lie and you find the truth that lies behind it.
Yeah.
And then when you focus on that truth, that's how you begin to move forward. Because over time, people evolve. People get experiences. It's those experiences that shape your life, that form who you are. And I believe that you can be influenced by one another.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's things about Ericka that she does that have rubbed off on me over the years.
Yeah.
And vice versa. There are things about me that have rubbed off on her.
Yep.
And I think it's those things for the betterment of one another that we have to focus on versus I'm going to change you or I'm going to, just take what's mine and keep it or, things have to be equal. And so the way you make it worth it is you find that truth and you focus on that truth.
Yeah.
So what do you say about that?
I would say that, and then I would also say let's capitalize and strengthen what you're good at, right? I think it's really important to take maybe an inventory of what you are each very skilled at or you're passionate about or you're interested in and utilize that as a springboard for your success. And so clearly one of my strengths is budgeting and, playing with the numbers and forecasting and that kind of thing. I love it. I enjoy it, but it's also a need of mine to be able to see the bigger picture. And on your end, I would say that you're a visionary. You can see down the line way more clearly than I can. I'm really more like a realist, like today. And so, but though that's a strength that we each hold. And so how can we use that to our advantage? Instead of making you like me, right, where you love looking at the budget, that might be a futile pursuit, or making me like you to where I'm just this big visionary and I have these lofty dreams. That might be a futile pursuit. But if we look at each other's strengths and we say, oh, this is what he's good at, or this is what she's good at, and then we utilize that to our advantage as a team, now that's what I call success.
Look, what they say, the teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
And so if we're both the same, then one of us is unnecessary.
Yeah, and nah, ain't nobody leaving this relationship.
Exactly. Clank, clank.
Ooh, we got somebody on some chains up in here. We are bound. We are bound with that wedding band around our fingers. That's not going away.
Right. And so we hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. We want to hear from you. If you like it, if you love it, let us know. If you don't, keep it to yourself.
Yes, but keep coming back. Tell your friends. We are so glad that you joined us today, and we hope that you deny those lies and speak those truths so that you can have the marriage and the relationship around money that you want.
Until next time, keep pressing play, and we're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all your support, so be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up for our email on forbetterandworth.com.
Till next time, we're out of here.